record. I'm going to try to fly through this as much as I can because I had so many ideas. It all started a couple weeks ago, and then it started even more yesterday after the sermon at church. And then it started even more when I listened to the New Year's Eve service from church. And then I listened to Tony Robbins, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have all these ideas. So I actually have to split it up into 2 calls. So next week, I'm going to kind of do like a continuance of this week. But yeah, so let's just go ahead and get into it. So tonight, I want to talk about goal setting for an epic 2015. And Happy New Year, by the way. I haven't really seen you guys because we didn't do our call last week. So happy 2015. It's going to be like the best year ever. I'm freaking excited about it. Thanks for dealing with me. Let me turn the volume off on my phone. Last week when I was MIA in and out, I'm back and at it more than ever now. So my craziness is back. So anyways, real quick, I just want to recognize all the new coaches that we have on the team. I don't have a list of all the names, but it's awesome. I love seeing all the new faces. Real quick updates. The Surge is tonight. It actually does start in an hour, which is the same time as our webinar. Melissa and I didn't know that was going to happen when we planned it, but it will be 2 hours long and they will be recording it. And you guys don't necessarily have to be on the webinar. It's really just kind of for our prospects to be on. And we will record that too. And then also Super Saturdays this weekend. I've posted about it a lot. So if you guys, and I'll be posting about it more. If you guys, what was I going to say? Oh, if you guys want to look up to see where there is one near you, I believe I posted the link in the team page earlier. I'm really excited about it. They actually asked me to be a guest speaker at the one that I'm attending. So that should be interesting. I guess God's trying to tell me that I need to get better at public speaking. But anyways, those are just the updates real quick. If you guys need dates for challenge groups, glance groups, all that stuff, it's in our calendar thanks to Trisha, and that's in our Dropbox. So let me just go ahead and just get into everything with the epic goal setting for an epic 2015. I'm all over the place. So like I said, I got this idea from the sermon at church and like setting my own goals. And my own goals really scare the crap out of me right now because I have no idea how it's going to happen, but I'm just going to believe that it is and that God's going to send me all the people and resources I need. And I want to help you guys all do the same. And this is just something, this is a little bit inspiration from Pastor Stephen from my church, but I really like it. And this is basically how I talk too. So a lot of this is the Jess version of what Pastor Stephen says. But, you know, I really just want to help you guys. I know that you've heard me talk a lot about how I was stuck for so long and how I had no idea how I was going to be an elite coach even in August last year. And I just felt stuck forever. And I don't want you guys to feel stuck this year. You don't have to be stuck. And this sounds mean, but I don't mean it in a mean way. But we're the ones that make ourselves stuck because stuff doesn't work because we don't work it. I mean, we have to be honest with ourselves. And something else that Pastor Stephen was saying that just really stood out to me, that the key to changing something and like getting unstuck and, you know, changing whatever it is that we want to change in our life is doing more of the same thing. Of course, the same good things. You don't want to keep reaping the things that you shouldn't be doing. So what you have to do is you have to find your consistency and your flow. And that's actually something I wanted to talk about tonight. But like I said, I'm not going to have enough time tonight. So I'm going to keep that for our team call next Monday night. And really, guys, the key to any kind of change or any results in your business or reaching any goals, it's consistency. And it's just doing the 3 vital behaviors. If you guys were on the National Wake Up Call this morning, they talked a lot about it. So, you know, just setting up a routine for yourself and just doing it every single day. So like I said, that will be the topic for the team call next week. And what I'm going to do for you guys is I actually got this idea from talking to Becky the other day. I was going to make it into a video, but I figured I'd make a team call out of it, is I'm going to go through my business activity tracker and what I do every single day. And I'm going to go through it step by step by step to show you guys exactly what I do, what my system is, and how I stay organized. Because once I found out my system and my routine, I saved so much more time. I became more effective and more efficient. So that's something that I'm going to help you guys do next week. So yeah, I want to help you guys not be stuck this year. We all don't want to stay stuck where we are. Not that we all should be proud for everything that we had done last year, but I know you guys all have big goals for next year. and we don't want to be stuck. So we're going to make this the best year ever. I want to just remind you guys of something too, before I get into more details about how to set your goals for the year, is that you have to just stick the course when it gets rough. You got to just show up and do it even when you don't feel like it. This is something that Pastor Stephen said, is that gardens grow in the dirt, which is so true. And something else he said was that, it only looks lucky on the outside. Like when you see people have really big results in their business or their life or whatever. And honestly, guys, I can attest to that. Like when I was really busting my ass to become an elite coach, it might have looked all beautiful and pretty when I was done because I became a 5-star diamond. But let me tell you, behind the scenes, I was working crazy hours. I was losing sleep. I had people telling me no all the time. I had people quitting on me. I had people going inactive. I had so many days where I woke up and had no flipping idea how it was going to happen, but I was determined and I wasn't going to let my feelings or my doubts or fears stop me. So you have to remember that. You have to remember that success doesn't always look pretty behind the scenes. And you have to remember to not resist the process that's going to give you results, because you will get challenges along the way. That's what happens when you decide you're going to make a change. So just stick the course when it gets rough. So the reason why also that I wanted to talk about goal setting for making this an epic 2015 for you, and you guys know that I talk about this kind of stuff a lot, but I'm just going to repeat it because I care about you guys and I want you to hear it again. The main reason why is because you guys are all made for more. I want you guys to all just dream as big as you possibly can. And don't put limits. I know you guys know that I'm a believer. If you're not, that's totally fine. But don't put limits on what God can do or the universe or whatever you want to call it. Don't put limits on that. God didn't make you for mediocrity. None of us are made for mediocrity. So I want you to just remember that. I want you to have goals and dreams so big that they scare the crap out of you and you have no idea how it's going to happen. That's the kind of way that I want you guys to dream, because that's what you deserve. And you can do it. I believe in all of you guys. I know that you can make anything happen. And I just want to remind you too, when you're setting your goals, I want you to really look at them and, I want you to make your decisions in your life based on what your goals are. Because if you do that, your results are going to flow from your routine if you actually make the right decision and do it. I mean, honestly, guys, when I was going for elite, there was a lot of things and decisions that I had to make. Like, I didn't really have a social life for 2 months. And I'm not telling you guys that you have to do that, but I'm just giving that as an example, is that I pretty much did nothing else but work and sleep for a few hours when I decided to go after that and make that my goal. So sometimes you just have to say no to a few things here and there so that your plate isn't as full, so that you have more time to work on your goals. And you'll be happier too when you're doing things that are going to give you progress and get you closer to your goals. So 3 things that'll be easy to do for setting your goals in 2015. So the first thing I want you guys to do is I want you to figure out, like, once you know what your goals are, I want you to think about that first of all, of course, like that's a given. Write down what your goals are for this year, break it down by what you want to do each quarter. And then I want you to figure out why. I talk about this all the time, and so does Beachbody, but it's so important because you're not going to be motivated to do it if your why isn't big enough. If your why does not make you cry, then guess what? When you wake up and you don't feel like doing anything, or you're sick, or you've only had 2 hours of sleep, you're not going to do it. You're going to make excuses. Believe me, before my why was big enough, I made excuses all the time. So you have to figure out why you're doing it. So on those days when you wake up and you don't feel like it, you're going to push through it and do it anyway, or you're going to stay up a little bit later to make it happen because your why is so important to you. So you have to figure out why, because we don't all wake up every single day motivated. I mean, I get on these calls and I try to help motivate you guys, but I don't even wake up motivated myself every day. No one does. We're human beings. So keep your why in front of you. Keep focused on it. Like, write it down as many places as you can. I have mine everywhere. I have a freaking vision board right in front of me by my desk. I have stuff on my phone, on my Pinterest. I have stuff on my mirror in my bathroom. I have stuff written down everywhere. Just keep it in front of you so that you can be reminded of why you're doing it. So the second thing I want you guys to do after you've set your goals for the year is I want you to make a deadline for it, for each goal. And I talk about that a lot too, but guess what? That's something else that I figured out in this whole becoming an elite coach process, was that if you don't set a deadline for something, then it's probably not going to happen. As human beings, we tend to procrastinate stuff and just be like, oh, well, I'll do that later, or right now I'd rather just like be in my covers with my cats and my fuzzy blankets. I mean, I say that in my head almost every morning, but we're just going to procrastinate and put stuff off if we don't make a deadline for it. The deadline that we make, it's not to scare us. It's not to intimidate us. I used to never set deadlines to my goals because I was like, oh my gosh, well, I'm just going to be so depressed if I don't reach my goal. But that's not the purpose of it. We don't want you to be depressed. There's no reason to be depressed, because even if you don't reach it by that deadline, you're still going to be way, way, way closer than if you didn't set that deadline. I think that's what I was trying to say. So it's just something that's going to push you towards achieving it. It's going to motivate you on the days where you don't feel as motivated. I know I'm a super last minute kind of person. That's just how I am. So once I see a deadline approaching, I am going to work my butt off to do whatever it takes to make it happen. And, it also, I think deadlines are good because why put off your dreams? Why put off the rest of your life? Why keep saying, maybe later, not right now, maybe next year? Like I said at the beginning of the call, you guys are made for more. You're made for amazingness. So make deadlines for all your goals. And the third thing is that I want you guys to set up some kind of accountability system once you've determined what your goals are, because that's another thing. Like, I never really had an accountability system until I paired up with my recent push partner, Lauren, and got my mentor, Paul. And I set up an accountability system too with all my girls that were going for diamond that are now diamonds. And the reason why an accountability system is important is, again, because it's going to push you and it's going to motivate you. And it's not meant to be like a system where I'm your sponsor and I'm going to say, hey, did you do this today? Because I want to just tell you what to do because I'm the boss. It has nothing to do with that. It's because as your sponsor and mentor, we want to help you guys. We want to do everything that we can to help you guys reach your goals. And when you have an accountability system in place, you're going to be more likely to actually do something if you know you have to tell someone about it. I know I am. That's why I was like, hey, Facebook, I'm going to start posting my workouts every day so that I'm held more accountable to it. So your accountability system is going to look different for everybody. You want to talk to your sponsor about what kind of system works best for you. When I had my girls going for diamond, there were some of them that I did a call with every single week, but then there were some that didn't want to do calls with me because they were too busy inviting people and they just needed me to do 3-way calls to close them. So everyone is going to have a different accountability system. You just have to figure out what that is, what type of system you want it to be, whether it's Facebook message or Zoom calls or whatever. But I do encourage you guys to get some kind of system in place for accountability. And, make sure that you're sharing with your sponsor your results that you're getting when you're inviting people so that they can help you get better results. That's one of the biggest things that working with my girls going diamond, like they would share their messages with me that they were sending out all the time if they weren't sure what to say back or if they were getting objections. And I would type up a response for them and be like, this is what I would say. And it's not to say that you guys don't know what you're doing because you're awesome, but we've just been doing it a little bit longer. So we might have, a way to tweak it to make it have an even better result. And, another thing that I like to bring up to people when talking about accountability is, sometimes you're going to get tough love from myself or your sponsor, or your whoever it is, whoever your upline diamond is, whatever. And you guys can ask all the diamonds on this team that I gave them plenty of tough love, push them out of their comfort zones plenty of times. And that's what it takes. I mean, honestly, it was out of my comfort zone to push people out of their comfort zones because I'm like, oh, they're going to think I'm so mean. And then I just realized I'm like, I'm a bad mentor if I don't do that, because then they're not going to reach their potential. So this is an example that I had given on some of our calls with our girls that are going for diamond now. And that was just, with the accountability piece and, the mentorship is to think about like a college basketball team and think about the coach for a college basketball team. That coach is going to make the players run a bunch of laps, until they're about to throw up on themselves. And the players are not going to be happy with the coach while they're about to throw up running laps. But when they go win their state championship or whatever they do in basketball, then the players are going to be hugging the coach and celebrating and thanking them, or thanking the coach for pushing them out of their comfort zones. So that's the only reason why you're going to get tough love from us. That's the only reason why we want to set up this accountability system for you, is so that we can help push you out a little bit. We'll do it with love, but so that we can help you guys reach your fullest potential. I think that's what I'm trying to say. So real quick, as a review, those 3 things are figuring out your why, number 2, making a deadline, and then number 3, setting up your accountability system. And now I want to go into income goal setting, because this is definitely something I know that all of us on this team definitely are doing this because we want to help people. We love it. We're passionate about it. But I know that money can also be a big motivator too, and help us reach some of the goals that we have in life. So I have a couple things that I want to say with income goal setting. First of all, I definitely want you to dream big. Don't think that you can't make it happen. I know that there's coaches in the network, like there's a girl, Lauren Duke, and she signed up last year, 2013. And within a year, she was in the top 10. So you guys can do anything, seriously. So I'll just go through a couple of things real quick. And I wanted to just preface this by saying, and this is again out of love, might not sound that nice, but you're seriously kicking your own ass if you're not an Emerald yet. And I say that because I don't know if you guys realize this or not, but you're missing out on a lot of money, because you're going to earn the Team Cycle bonus, not from just people that you bring into the business, but people that your sponsor signs up to. And, if you guys have really big income goals, I'm sorry, but you're just not going to reach them just with your own personal sales. Seriously, guys, like 90% of my income now comes from my Team Cycle bonus. It doesn't come from my own personal sales. I'm not saying that I don't have my own personal sales. I'm just saying that you're not going to earn a residual income if you don't get the Emerald and start getting that Team Cycle bonus. And I know it's scary to talk to people about the coaching opportunity. I've told you guys before, I didn't go Diamond for 9 months because I was so afraid of it. But the only thing that's going to make it easier is just talking to people and practicing. And that's the only thing. And, use us as your support system. There's lots of great resources in the Dropbox on how to do this. And just don't overcomplicate it, you guys. It's only 2 people. I'm sure you have a family member, a friend, a spouse, someone that will sign up as your first coach, and then just work with your sponsor on finding that second person. Because I don't want you guys to miss out on the amazing earning potential of it. So that's the first thing that I wanted to say about income goal setting. The second thing I wanted to say, and then the rest of it, I have it in a diagram because I stole it from my push partner because she's awesome. And it's actually an example I'll talk about in a second. I will share that with you guys after the call because it breaks it down very specifically. So there's not really any point for me to explain it on the call. But another thing that I want you guys to do, if you're Emerald or above, I think I talked about this in our last team call, but there's a way to look at your team volume carryover. And what that is it's basically money that is just sitting there in your bank, like volume that just rolls over and rolls over and rolls over every week. Because if you're not cycling enough, that money is going to sit there in the bank and they hoard it from you basically because you're not cycling enough and you can't get it until you cycle enough. So the way to look at that carryover, it's called your LTV and RTV, which just stands for left team volume and right team volume. And the way that you access that is when you're in your online office, you just click on commissions and then you click on your Team Cycle bonus, like where it says the amount. And then there's going to be all these numbers and it'll say all these things, but you'll just look on the columns at the top and it'll say LTV and RTV and it'll be all these different numbers. So when you access that, send the numbers to your upline, go through this with your upline so that you guys can make a plan together on how to cycle more and balance your legs out more so that you can, benefit more from the cycle bonus. So those 2 things didn't really tie in together, but they do have to deal with your income. So I wanted to mention both of them. The picture that I'm going to share with you guys, oh gosh, I have all these text messages, this is like a planning tool really for setting your income goal. And this is really what I wanted to talk about, but I wanted to mention those two things first. This is going to be a very clear, specific system on exactly how many, it's talking about, sorry, I'm like reading through it. This is basically setting goals for how many new challengers you want to have each month, what you want your income to be, how many new coaches you want to have a month, and then based on that, how many invites you need to send out for each thing. So it's going to go through weekly activities and how many invites you'll need to send out to get X amount of coaches or X amount of challengers. It goes through tips on how to get your coaches, your personally sponsored coaches, to Earn Success Club. And then at the very bottom of it, it's going to just go through different categories of income goals. Like if you want to earn $250 weekly, $500 weekly, blah, blah, blah. It'll tell you how many new coaches, new challengers, and how many of your PS coaches need to Earn Success Club to reach those goals. So I'll post the picture in the team page tonight. It'll probably be after the webinar, but I have a reminder up here so that I'll do that. So I think that that's just a really good system for you guys to put in place so that it can be more clear and specific on exactly what you need to do to reach each of those goals. I feel like all of this stuff is completely all over the place. Hopefully it's making sense, but I just had a lot of stuff I wanted to say. I don't really have that much else to say except for a couple action items for you guys like I usually do, and then some closing quotes. 7:25, I told Melissa to text me when I was like close to my time because I need to get off of here in a few. So let me just go through the action items real quick and then I'll open it up to see if anyone has questions. So just 3 real quick action items for you guys. The first one would definitely be to get into personal development. And I have a couple book recommendations for you guys. I know that we talk about personal development all the time. I know Beachbody talks about it all the time. It's one of the 3 vital behaviors. So I probably sound like a broken record, but it's so important. Tony Robbins was talking about this when I was listening to some of his audio this morning. And I know I talk about him all the time, but he's awesome. And it's so true. Like the only reason I freaking finally changed was because of that dude. So the reason personal development is so important is because if you want to change or get better or build a better business, you have to be better. And 80% of success in life is from your psychology in your mind. So what we have to do is destroy the limitations that we have in our mind or fears or whatever that holds us back. And that's what personal development does. That's why I was able to finally push through all this shit that was holding me back and reach my goals. So my 2 personal development recommendations that I have for you guys, just because it kind of goes into what we're talking about with consistency and what else was I going to say? Change, since it's the new year. The first one would be Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, if you haven't already read it. And the second one would be Switch. I can't remember who writes it, but I have a picture of, or I have it here so I can take a picture of it if you guys can't find it. So those would be my 2 personal development recommendations. And then 2 things real quick is if you haven't already, write out your goals, set your goals for the year, send them to your upline, and then that way you guys can break them down and reverse engineer it so that you know what to do each quarter, and we can reverse engineer it more than that if we need to. And then we'll also help you break down the number of invites you'll need, the number of new coaches you'll need, and the number of new challengers. So that's the first thing. And the second thing, well, I guess it's really the third because the first was personal development. The third thing would be to find a schedule or a / routine for your life, health, business, like everything, your life. And one thing, I kind of started a new routine, I guess you would say, after the holidays. Because honestly, guys, like when I was working so much, when I was going for Elite, like my schedule was all over the place. I wasn't getting my workouts in every day. My personal development didn't always happen every day. So now I have a very specific schedule that I follow. And it helps me so much. Like I start my day with my workout and then personal development, because the first 15 minutes of your day, that's going to direct the whole course of your day. So if you start off your day like rushing out the door, or you didn't wake up to do stuff, you didn't have time for anything, that's how your whole day is going to be. And I also encourage you guys too, if you're not, get on track with your own workouts in Shakeology, and you will feel so much better about yourself. And put that first. You have to take care of yourself first before you can take care of anyone else. And believe me, that's something that I learned in my whole process, because I was not putting myself first and I let my workouts get off. So, you know, definitely find a schedule for that if you don't already. And then, you know, of course, have a routine too and a system for your business. And like I said, I'll be talking about that more next week. So stay tuned for next week. I'll give you guys details on how to find your system with your business activity tracker. I'll go through what my system is. I'll teach you guys a little bit more about keeping it organized and also keeping it simple, because really, if you're like trying to do 8 million things, you're not going to be good at anything, which I'll talk more about next week. I'm out of breath. So closing quotes real quick. These come from Pastor Steven Furtick because he's awesome, and it just goes right along with everything we've been talking about. So the first thing is, you will miss the miraculous because you skipped the monotonous. You'll never arrive if you can't abide. The key to real change isn't to arrive to something, but abide where you already are. I just really liked those a lot and thought they were awesome. So it's 7:31. I'm about out of dang breath. We have 8 minutes left on here. I will, I won't unmute everybody now. If anyone has any questions, feel free to type in the chat box and I'll unmute you so you can ask your question. But I do need to get off of here in like 5 minutes. Hopefully all that made sense. As you guys know, I talk fast and get really excited, and I had all these ideas and hopefully they all meshed together and made sense. I'm just writing something down real quick before I forget to post a picture for you guys. Okay, guys. Well, if we don't have any questions, then I am going to go eat something before the webinar and get that all started up so that we don't have any technical issues. Pray for us that we don't. Happy 2015 again. I will post that picture that I talked about in the team page. I'll also post the notes for this call too, probably because there was a lot of stuff and it might help to have it all written down. But it's going to be an awesome year, you guys. I can already tell that it's starting off like on the right foot. I know the holidays is a really hard time for the business and it's really slow, but things are about to get crazy, and I'm proud of all of you guys. And my cat wants to steal the screen. So yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to stop rambling. I love you guys. I hope everyone has a good night. And here's to an epic 2015. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.